The very powerful legendary Pokemon Groudon is once again in raid battles, and you absolutely do not want to miss out on getting this Pokemon. And in this video, I'm going to be going over the best counters and the best strategies for taking on Groudon raids. Let's get right into it. Hey, how's it going everyone? Jinsula here with a brand new Pokemon Go video. I hope your week has been going really well, and let's get right into it. So today is going to be a raid guide video for the legendary Pokemon Groudon. This is of course a legendary raid boss that we've had quite frequently within Pokemon Go. It is a very powerful ground type in and of itself, but this is a Pokemon that does have a shadow version that has been released in the game, and it also has a type of Mega Evolution. It's actually called a Primal Reversion, and it makes this Pokemon one of the best ground types in the game by far. But of course, just like Mega Evolutions, in order to get the Primal Reversion form, you need a form of energy resource, which is called Primal Energy, but you won't be able to get that this time around. This is just for the regular Groudon, it's not for the Primal Reversion of it, it's basically just the Pokemon itself, and that kind of makes it very easy. Primal Reversion raids are of course going to be more difficult than regular legendary raids, and that means if you want yourself a 100% IV of this Pokemon, it's going to be a great opportunity for you to do so, because the raids are not going to be as difficult. But regardless of the fact, I think some players might choose to not do a whole bunch of Groudon raids, specifically because you're not going to be able to get the Primal Energy for this Pokemon, and I think that might be a mistake, because Groudon in and of itself is still a really good Pokemon. Yeah, it may not be as good as the Shadow version of it, and it may not be as good as the Primal Reversion version of it, but I still think it's really good. I mean, even for myself, I have a 100% IV Groudon that I fully maxed out. It is of course the Pokemon that I use for the Primal Reversion form, but I think it's always been really powerful, even before the Primal Reversion was released. I think it's going to be a future-proof Pokemon. Of course, the only Pokemon that is probably going to be way better than this Pokemon is the Shadow version of Groudon, but even so, even regular Groudon can prove to be useful, especially when it comes to stuff like the Master League or certain raid battles where ground types are good. Yeah, Groudon is always a tried and true Pokemon, and you do not want to miss out on the opportunity at picking one up. So let's go right into the raid guide. Let's talk about the best counters, all the different details for this raid boss, and then afterwards let me talk about some other reasons why you want to be raiding this Pokemon this time around. Groudon is a single type legendary Pokemon, and it's going to be a ground type. This gives it 3 weaknesses, which is going to be water type, grass type, and ice type raid damage, and it's going to be resistant to electric, poison, and rock type damage. So make sure you bring Pokemon with water type, grass type, or ice type attacks. Those are going to be really effective against Groudon. And when it comes to perfect IVs, this is definitely one of those legendary raid bosses where you want to get perfect IVs. Look for one that is 2351. And if it's weather boosted, you're going to want to find one that is 2939. And Groudon is going to be weather boosted by sunny or clear weather. Now, if you want to secure the win against a Groudon, you don't need a really large raid group. You could secure the win with 4 to 6 trainers in total within the raid, or if you want to challenge yourself, and that's only if you have the absolute best counters, you could duo this raid boss with just one other trainer who also has really good counters. Speaking of which, let's go over the best counters right now. The absolute best counters are going to include Primal Kyogre, which is going to be the #1 Pokemon to use, and if you do not have Primal Kyogre, you could also go with Mega Sceptile. And when it comes to non-Mega Evolution Pokemon, Black Kyurem and White Kyurem are going to be the absolute best. Just make sure you're going with ice type attacks. And then, of course, Shadow Kyogre is going to be a really high DPS Pokemon. That is definitely one worth bringing up against this raid. And if you do not have any of these Pokemon, don't worry, you could also go with Rillaboom. Just make sure that Rillaboom has Frenzy Plant, which it recently got. That's going to be a very powerful move to use against Groudon, because Rillaboom with Frenzy Plant actually is the highest DPS starter Pokemon that's not a Shadow. And then of course, Baxcalibur with ice type attacks is a really good option. If you do not have any legendaries but you have yourself a Baxcalibur, it is definitely one worth bringing to this raid. Yeah, overall, it's a very simple list of counters. Go with water types or grass types and have yourself either a black Kyurem or white Kyurem with Ice Fang or Ice Burn. That's basically all you need to worry about. So yeah, in terms of raid strategy, it's a very straightforward raid boss. You just want to bring the best counters, and the counters that I listed, those are definitely going to get you the win. But the nice thing about Groudon is that you don't necessarily have to be locked in to a specific type. You could go with good ice types, you could go with really good ground types, not ground types, grass types, and of course, water types as well. If you have Kyogres, you could go with a whole team of Kyogres and you'll be good. If you have grass type Pokemon like Kartana, Rillaboom, different things like that, that's also going to prove to be very useful against this raid boss. And of course, there's ice types. If you have black and white Kyurem, like I listed earlier, those are going to be really good against this raid boss. You really have a lot of different options. It's incredibly easy to take this boss down, and you don't need that many players as well. If you are high enough level and you have a whole bunch of maxed out, super powerful best counters, then you could duo this raid boss with just one other trainer. It might be a bit of a tight timing, but you should be able to take it down. It's not that difficult at this point in the game. And of course, when it comes to Groudon itself, it's a very powerful Pokemon to get, like I mentioned earlier on in this video. You still want to go for this Pokemon if you still do not have yourself a perfect IV version of it. It's definitely one of those you should aim to get. Because of the Master League, it has always been a staple. And of course, if you have the Primal Reversion energy, you will want to do a Primal Reversion on a 100% IV. And of course, there is the fact that you should be farming up candies for Groudon anytime it is a raid boss, because in the lucky chance that you get yourself a really high IV Shadow version of Groudon in the future, or maybe you already have one in your collection, it will definitely be worth powering up. And of course, powering up a Shadow Legendary is going to require a ridiculous amount of candies. So yeah, I think those are all really good reasons for you to raid Groudon, even if you do not need it in particular. And if you do happen to get yourself a perfect IV, it is definitely worth maxing out. And make sure you use an Elite Charge TM to give it Precipice Blades, which unfortunately is not going to be available for any Groudon that you catch. It's basically an exclusive move for Groudon. It's only available every so often. I think anytime they have Groudon as a raid boss for like a special event, that seems to be the only time I've ever seen Precipice Blades. But regardless, you want to get that charge attack on Groudon. It makes it incredibly good. And yeah, that's pretty much it. There's nothing really else to share regarding Groudon. Again, it's a very straightforward raid boss, not a whole lot of difficulty when it comes to the counters that you could use, and it's not that difficult as well. You could go about it with very little trainers. You should be able to take it down. It's not going to be easy as some other raid bosses that we've seen. It's still going to require a bit of work and some powered up Pokemon, but in general, it's not overly difficult. If you want to secure the win, like I said, go with maybe 4 other trainers, but yeah, you should be okay. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Definitely share your thoughts regarding Groudon down below. Is there a particular tip regarding this raid boss that I completely forgot to mention? If there is, make sure you mention it. Also, tell me what your most powerful Groudon is. Is it a perfect IV? Do you have a Groudon that is, I don't know. Yeah, what's your most powerful Shadow Groudon? I don't know. Just list it in the comments below. Let's have a great discussion. And if it's your first time to my YouTube channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button. That would be a huge help. And make sure you turn on the notification bell as well. And yeah, you'll be able to stay up to date on all the video content that I'm releasing. And make sure you check the links in the description below. There's a bunch of cool links to my Etsy store, my Patreon page, all that good stuff. Yeah, go and check that out. And that's going to be it. I'm Jinsula. Be safe, have fun, love yourself today, and I'll catch you in the next video. Jinsula